Hello, hello. So as you can see, I'm in a bit of a different place today than usual, which the reason for that is that I want to give you guys a little bit of a room tour today and also talk about my life and, you know, the logistics of living in a Japanese share house. So if you want to know about some details like the cost of living here and how I got into the share house, stay until the end. And now enjoy my room tour. That is the full room tour of my share house room. I know it's very tiny and it doesn't really have a lot of things in it, but it has all the essentials that I need. So far, I've lived here for 1.5 months and it has been fine. So obviously living here comes with a bunch of limitations because I only have a fridge, as you can see. I don't have a full kitchen. The kitchen that I'm using is on the same floor as I am on, however, so it's not that bad. There's always the chance of someone else using the kitchen right now, and there's only one stove and only one sink and stuff like that, so you can't really cook at the same time as someone else. So that can get really annoying, so I try to cook a lot at home, but it is a bit of an extra effort kind of having to find a time frame where no one else is cooking. Next thing is the bathroom. I do not have a bathroom for myself, which is something that I was really compromising on. I really wanted to have my own bathroom, but so far it's actually been, it's been okay. Obviously, it's not great having to share a bathroom with 10 other people, but it is not as bad as I thought it was gonna be because the bathrooms are kept relatively clean and the shower rooms as well are more or less clean. Obviously, I would still prefer to have my own bathroom, but you know, you get what you pay for. And by the way, get what you pay for, I wanted to talk about the cost of living in the share house. So the rent that I pay for this apartment is 59,000 yen. That is just the apartment cost that is without utilities. Utilities on top of that are 13,000 yen. And while that seems like a lot, I am in a very, very convenient area that is super close to one of the major stations in Tokyo, so I think you pay for the location that you're in. The next point that kind of to me justifies the price of the share house is that although it is super convenient, the location is very, very quiet. I live in an area where there's no major streets or anything like that, so it is always quiet. The only thing that I hear a lot is actually the sound of ravens. So there's a lot of ravens around that are very loud, but that is like, I can live with that, it's fine. I think the biggest hang-up that I have with the idea of living in this share house permanently, like long-term, is that I could probably find an apartment, a private apartment, for the same price range that might be even in a better location. Finding an apartment in Japan as a foreigner is just notoriously difficult, and the biggest thing for me was that I didn't want to get an apartment before I arrived here that was then somehow not what was advertised. You know, for example, the facilities could be broken, there could be something wrong with the insulation of the apartment and stuff like that, and I really didn't want to take that risk. So coming into a share house for me seemed like the safer option for now. But I'm probably not going to be living here much longer than like 6 months or something like that. But for the initial few months of living in Japan, I think this share house is actually perfect. As I said before, it's really close to the city center. I can just commute to school super easily. I can also commute to work really easily from here. It is a good location, it is very quiet. I do have a grocery store and a convenience super close. It's just a like 5-minute walk there. And everything is just accessible. I wanted to give you guys some more details about the share house too, just so you kind of understand what a share house actually is. It's like a dorm, but kind of a step up of that. Like, the people here aren't just students. People who live in share houses usually are, you know, like 50% are students, 50% are workers, and there's various reasons as to why someone would want to move into a share house. For example, there's a bunch of Japanese people in here who actually come from the countryside, but they now work in Tokyo and they had to find like a short-term or cheap solution to stay here. But there are also some people who just really enjoy living in a share house and being with other people who are a similar age, similar like living situation. So far, I haven't really hung out much with the people in the share house because I've just been crazy busy. But I noticed, for example, that there are some people playing Smash in the basement living area sometimes, so I might want to join for that at some point. So just a bit more about the facilities that the share house provides. It has 2 kitchens, one big one in the basement area and one on my floor. There's 4 floors in total, by the way. The 2 top floors are women only, and the first floor and basement floor are for men. And so I think that this share house has a great balance of like providing the bare minimum, but also giving a tiny bit of extras. Like, for example, in the basement floor, there's a little beauty room that provides hair dryers and like a curling iron and a straighteners and stuff like that, which is actually really convenient because I didn't bring all that stuff. So I'm just using what's here. Also, what I find really cool that they have here is a tiny gym, although it only really provides the bare minimum. You know, they have like 1 treadmill, 1 weight machine, 1 bench, and a few weights. It still is an area where I can work out, and no one usually bothers me because I feel like I'm the only person who uses that gym. So my verdict so far, for the price that I'm paying, it is a tiny bit pricey, but it is still a good place to start. If you come to Japan and you have no idea what to do for the living situation, make sure to check out share houses. And on that note, I also wanted to talk a bit about how I even got this room in the share house in the first place. So I'm not going to tell you the company of the share house that I'm with, but in Japan, and specifically in Tokyo, there's a bunch of different companies like Sakura House or Borderless House or Oak House that provide share houses all over Tokyo. For me personally, the biggest search requirement was the location, since I already knew where my school was going to be and I wanted to be somewhere close and on the same train line, blah, blah, blah. But so I think it's important to kind of have some priorities noted down internally or somewhere that you can kind of find out, okay, what kind of share house do I really want to go for? So since I knew the location, I kind of picked out a few favorites from different companies in that location, in that area, and that made it pretty easy for me to just kind of spot the ones that had the best quality for the best price. And although it did take some digging because I was going through like, I think 5 different companies before I found this one, I am very happy with my choice. I think the most important thing to consider when moving into a share house is that it is not a permanent space. Like for me, I definitely have some reservations about buying new things, like buying a lot of furniture. Literally the only furniture I bought is that tiny little pink shelf thingy, because everything else was already here. The desk was already here, this chair was here, the bed was here, and the wardrobe was here. And that's like the only furniture that actually exists. Oh, obviously the fridge and the mirror too. Those were here already. The only thing I really bought was the little shelf thing. And that really helped me compartmentalize, okay, what is the bare minimum of things that I need to live? Because as soon as I move into an actual apartment, that's when I can then justify internally, I think, buying more furniture. Before now, living in a share house has really shown me just how little I actually require to have a comfortable life. And I think that kind of mindset also makes it really easy for me to just generally save money as I live here, which is, I think, the second biggest reason why someone would want to move into a share house. Although if you break down the cost of living here, it's not that much cheaper than getting an apartment if you really look for one. I think just having this mindset of, okay, I'm living here and I don't need a lot of things. I can live on the bare minimum. I am pretty much in a dorm situation anyway. I think inside of me, it kind of activates some frugal energy that makes me not want to spend money. So baseline, I think living in a share house for me is only going to be a temporary thing, although a lot of people really enjoy this kind of lifestyle and stay here for years, which is totally valid. But so I hope I could give you guys a bit more insight into what it is like to live in a Japanese share house. And if you're interested in more content about Japan, make sure to subscribe and also watch this video, and I'll see you guys next time.